everybody and welcome on today's video. Today I'd like to do some starting work on this quite big Carpinus. I have been grafting some roots on this by just adding a few small seedlings, but I don't think that the roots are completely fused. You know, they need to swell a whole lot before they fuse, so this is something that's gonna stay like this for the coming years. But I also think that it's maybe time to start thinking about the top of this tree. So let's focus on this part. Now here you see a big cut, and well, of course this is not really attractive, so something needs to be done about that. And of course this part of the trunk is starting to rot now. Now I'm going to show you the trunk line. So as you see, this is a nice interesting S shape, and if you turn the tree 180 degrees, so something like this, well, you obviously get the same S shape. If you turn the tree this way, well, it's kind of straight. You also have some reverse taper, which you don't want. So it's quite obvious that this is going to be the front or the other side. And I don't know, because I want to see how the roots are presenting themselves. But I'm quite sure that, well, this part here and the other part on the other side is not going to be needed. So I also want to give this tree and give nature the possibility to rot out what is not needed, because you're never gonna make a interesting tree with good taper. It's possible to cut here, for example, quite straight but a little rounded cut, and then you start with this as a new leader, but it's gonna take decades before this is big enough to take over, and it's going to be ridiculous. So the best thing, I think, is to make some kind of V shape here, and yeah, make the broom in this spot here so that it fills the tree. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do that with my concave cutters. And so here I go. Of course I'm not going to film the whole process of cutting away pieces of wood. It would be extremely boring for you and stressy for me, but I'm just going to nibble away from this side, slowly but surely. And I'm not even sure if I will finish this video today, but I'm just going to leave that tree here on the bench, and every time that I feel like it, I think I'm just going to get some of this old wood done. So yeah, interesting, this part is alive. Didn't think that it would be that high, so I'm going to search for the living tissue, and I'll see you in, well, I don't know, quite some time, I guess. So I marked the region that I want to carve out, and I think I'm going to use my Dremel tool for that. So I'm not gonna film this, it makes just a horrible noise, but I think it's gonna look cool. I have the camera in my hand now, so that you can see that we are following from the bottom of the tree that same curve, and in the back it's the same. So here also I'm going to try to follow that marker here, that black line. I'm not sure if I need to include a little branch here, But yeah, I think I'm going to keep it for now. Maybe I should go more that way. A little deeper or something. Not sure, but I'm going to start with the first line that I drew. Okay, so this is where I am after a couple of hours of drilling and carving and cutting. 1 second, that's just a branch passing. So I think that's quite okay. I have a nice V shape here, and now I think that the best thing to do is to let this tree recover. We still got the whole month of September to let this thing grow, and then we will see how it looks after the winter. So yeah, to be continued. Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. This is my big Carpinus tree. It was an airlayer, and there's a playlist for this tree, so if you want to look it up, feel free, of course. Now, as you see, well, can't really see it, but there are a whole lot of small trees growing here. These are the root grafts that I'm currently making. They're doing quite okay, but I don't think that the tree is really ready to get out of the pot and be repotted, so I didn't do anything for 2 years now, I think. So I'm going to let this grow. So all these little seedlings, well, they're not seedlings anymore, they're 2 year old, 3 years old maybe. You don't have them here. That's because, well, the tree had natural roots here, and these roots have been keeping this whole portion alive. So that's really good. So let's zoom in a little. So this portion is the natural root base of this tree, and yeah, it's a problem because I don't know if this is going to be the best front. Well, it should be something. This is a possible front, I marked this. And the other side is also a possible front, but I'm not sure about that because I need to see how these roots did and how they present themselves. Now, I think that's gonna be quite okay, but yeah, I have to keep in mind that this tree still has 2 possible fronts. And while I'm here, let's remove a little weeds. By the way, strangely, I have a Carpinus growing here, which is always interesting. So, for the top now. Now this is the root base of the possible front, and this is the top then. And as you can probably see, well, there are a few branches here that are quite okay, quite thick branches. And that's not a surprise because, well, all these trees, well, they are apically dominant. Now, if this is the front, I'd like to have a tree with lots of deadwood because it has almost no taper. So I really want a tree that has a V shape to it, an old rugged tree. So this can be a front if the roots are good, and then I'll have to get rid of all this here. I think this portion should be eliminated. Maybe down to here, it's a possibility. If I want to do it to the other side, which is also a possibility, I don't know if this is on camera because this tree is, yeah, okay. Here I tried that with, I've tried starting the carving, and I should go a whole lot more, which is so. Yep, that's also a possibility. Now, one thing that is for sure is that if you look at the lower branches, well, they're really thin. They are present, but they are thin. So what I need to do today is get rid of the top. This tree has been growing really well, and well, This is going to be something really simple. I'm just going to reduce everything in the top, leaving some portions of green to keep the sap flowing. So leaving 2 branches everywhere. Two, 3, well, something like that. And this of course will calm down the top, and it will give the lowest parts more vigor. So also here, it's quite a long thing. I'm reducing that. Will make the whole tree a little more manageable. And I'll snip off some of the longest parts. So of course, if you have a look at what they call the carnage cam, well, I removed most of the leaves, but this tree is doing quite well, so I'm not afraid of that at the moment. Now it changes the perspective, of course. I'd like to start forming the crown here. So if I see that I have some new buds emerging from this spot or this spot, I will of course immediately reduce further back and start ramification here. Now for these branches I'm going to do nothing, but there are a few interesting things. So like most deciduous trees, and especially the Carpinus, they tend to, where there's a little wound, put out a whole lot of new little branches from the same spot. So we have 1, 2 and 3 here. And most of the time the best thing to do is to remove 2 or 1 and just keep 1. But I don't think that I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave them all, and if I see that they are doing well, I'm going to get them together and fuse them. So I will have already a thicker branch and some ramification. So that's a little test that I want to try here. So I can do that in this spot. I have a good spot where I can do it here with these little guys, all emerging from the same space. Yeah, so that's something. Here also we have a small branch and it divides immediately, but if I put them together I have a thicker branch and it has some ramification. So that's maybe an interesting concept. Same here. This looks like nothing, but keep it for a year and it might get very interesting. So anyway, because this tree has taper problems, I think it's a good idea to let all these branches grow out at least for a year. So this was a quick one, but I'm very happy with this. It's a really thick trunk here with, I think, lots of possibilities. Another thing that is good is that last year this tree was really not stable in this spot, and now, well, it's not completely stable. It's still wiggling a bit, but a whole lot less, which means that the roots are spreading out and grabbing the tree, and it might be that these roots are starting to fuse with the mother plant, with the big tree here. So until next spring I will not know, but the plan is to keep everything alive. So if you want to see how this continues, please like, subscribe, etc. In the meantime, thank you for watching and see you next time.